to also respond to their environment. So for example, when people sweat, because it's hot, because it's hot outside. In order to prevent dehydration, you have to drink water. So that is you responding to your environment. If it's hot outside, you're going to start sweating. You have to be able to reproduce as a species, not as an organism. There are some organisms that are infertile, so they can't reproduce. But if the entire species is able to reproduce, then they are they're able to reproduce, right? So that is necessary. I want you to take 30 seconds, again, independently, in your brain. Think about why is it important that they're able to reproduce. Mark, why is it important that they're able to reproduce?
Because without them reproducing, they won't have kids, so they can't make like food, so they can't like reproduce their family.
Yes, they're not able to reproduce their family. Good job. They have to be able to maintain homeostasis. Can we say homeostasis?
Homeostasis.
Good. That means that the organisms have a stable internal environment. So this is not talking about the external environment. This is talking about on their insides. They have to have a stable environment. They have to be able to metabolize. That means that they have to be able to get energy. So they eat, create energy, and then use that energy in chemical reactions. In your syllabus, I put that you needed mental energy, and then I put the name of the energy that we're going to be talking about this year. What was that energy called? Does anyone remember? Think about it, raise your hand if you remember. There's a specific name for it. And if you have your syllabus, it's on there. I did pick it up, but some people I just gave it to because they weren't here. Actually, I think everyone here already turned it in. Yeah. I'll give you a letter, A, and there's 3 letters. Anyone?
3 letters?
Mm-hmm.
What? Ask?
It's in the front page. Someone already found it. Front page. Under materials.
What? Oh.
You can just say the letters. Hold on. You can just say the letters. Guys, let's track. ATP. Here we go.
Oh.
ATP. Good. ATP. We talked about this in the first day. Do you remember when I asked you guys to say it?
Yeah.
Let's say it again. Adenosine.
Adenosine.
Triphosphate.
Phosphate.
Adenosine triphosphate.
Adenosine triphosphate.
We're going to call it ATP, so you don't have to say the entire thing. And the last one is that the species have to be able to evolve. They have to be able to change over time to be able to live within the environment that they are in. If they change to another environment and they're not able to survive, then they're all going to die out. And we don't want that to happen. We just want them all to be able to change over time. Now, these are your first key points for today. Scientists do not all agree on a set list of characteristics of life. There are many different things that we take into account, but there are some things that we can use to categorize them. And some things are really hard to categorize from living and non-living because it's more of a continuum than a dichotomy. What this means is that there is not a set list of things that you use. It's more of a range or a spectrum of things that you can take into account to say, is it living, is it not living? And this is the last key point. In general, living things have to be made up of cells, have to be based on a genetic code. They have to be able to grow and develop. They must be able to respond to the environment and reproduce. They have to keep a stable internal environment. They have to use energy, and they have to be able to evolve. Why do you think evolving is so important? Think about it independently. Why is evolving so important? What happens if we don't evolve? What was that? I couldn't hear you. We would be monkeys. I mean, if our environment changes and we don't evolve, then we would stay the same way that we were before. Wait, let's go with raised hand over there.
It could die out
Yeah, and why would that happen?
because our environment changed and we're not suited to it.
Perfect. So our environment would change and we wouldn't be well suited to it, so we would die out. There's a quick CFU that I want you to do, pretty simple CFU. You are doing this independently for 2 minutes and then you are going to pair up and share out. But first 2 minutes independent. You have to be able to explain why it's living or non-living, why it's living or non-living, why it's living or non-living. Explain it too. 2 minutes starting now. Go. Guys, put your heads up, please. No heads on the table. You guys can see 100% of you answering the CFU. There's about a minute left. If we all finish early, we can move on. It doesn't make sense. Why would it have energy? Would it have all the things that we talked about? What? All right, we're going to bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Can I have Evelyn? Share out your answer for human. It's living because it has cells. Does it have everything else?
Yes.
Yes. Cool. So it's considered living. Remember that in order to be considered living, it has to have everything. So it has to have every single one of those characteristics that we talked about. Can I have Viridiana? Share out your answer for fire. Fire is non-living. Why is it non-living? It doesn't have cells. What else does it not have? Can anyone else tell me? Yes.
Genetic code.
It doesn't have a genetic code. Good. What else? Yeah.
It can't reproduce.
It can't reproduce. It does reproduce, but it's a different type of reproducing, as in it's growing, right? But yeah, you're right. It technically is not reproducing. Yes.
State.
It's not stable. Yeah. Does it have energy?
Yes.
It does release energy. What was another one of our things? Does it evolve? Is it changing according to its environment? Yeah, I mean, it does respond to the environment a bit, but it's not in the extent that we expect it to. Good. What about a unicorn? I saw a lot of discussion on the unicorn. Is the unicorn living or not living?
It is a living thing because it's made of cells.
It is a living thing because it's made of cells. Is it made up of the rest of the things? Is it able to reproduce? Yeah, if it was real. Is it able to maintain a stable environment? Does it maintain homeostasis? Does it grow? Does it metabolize? Get energy? Yeah. So is it living? Yeah. If it existed, it would be considered living. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move on because there's not a lot of time. So, guys, I need all eyes on the board right now. Thank you. You're going to read and study the table below about viruses with your elbow partner. So you're not working with your entire table, you are working with your elbow partner. And you're going to annotate and read as you read. You're not starting on your CER yet unless you finish reading early. So I'm going to give you 5 minutes just to look at the data and start your, and annotate, sorry. 5 minutes to read and annotate. Start now. Go. Did you already read through it? Yeah. Did you see if it was living or not living? Determine that based on it. Circle the ones that are, like, whether it's living or not living based on their characteristics. Because you're going to use it. Guys, we're going to be stopping a little bit early, so I'm going to give you about 40 seconds to finish up before we move on.
You're saying it's
Yeah,
going to
that's
die. You're willing to
Did you
do it.
annotate?
Yeah.
We all, not letting people know. Well, no, we all get it now, but it'll stop working, right? Okay. Why is that? Why are you saying it's not working?
It is,
So if you, why did you stop working? You get it. All right, good. I'm not laughing. How did you find it? Supposed to have 24/7 so I understand that.
All right, guys, we're gonna bring it back in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Before we move on, I want you to take, if you haven't done so already, 30 seconds to look at the chart, and I don't have my paper, I have it in here somewhere. Look at the chart where it gives you 2 different types of viruses. Encircle at the top what things viruses do not do that can classify them as either living or non-living. Or circle what your evidence could be for your CER. Take about 30 seconds to do that before we move on.